Hello, Rebel, GMan 10F. Welcome back to the recap. I'm very sorry you missed week one. We didn't get to cover it because, as I just said on the 10A video, unfortunately, among other things, real life was kicking us in the teeth a bit, and two of my children decided to be incredibly insensitive and have birthdays in the same week. How dare they? Anyway, I am joined by Mcnugget again.
Hello, Division 10F. Glad to be back.
I got to you a bit faster that time. I was aware. Now we're going to take a quick dive into the leaderboard. We're not going to be going over the questionnaires this week that I sent out because we kind of we're a bit stuck.
2 weeks to go over.
2 weeks to go over. So, I'm just going to say we're looking at this before we even started. I called this. Did I not call this? Look who's top. Look who's top.
Yes. Crystal Hunter, a coach, I think we were both aware of how good he is in CCL, and we were curious to see how much of that would transfer over into Rebel itself, and it appears it's transferred very well.
He does have a very balls-to-the-wall style, though, which may be represented by his 950 TV, but we'll get to that in a minute. There's another coach in this who I've been watching who has plays very balls-to-the-wall, and it is Hargrim. Now, I did call Grimzilla Hargrim in the last video, but I'm totally going to call Hargrim Grimzilla for the rest of the video, and no one's going to understand why.
No. If you want to understand why, please go and look at Division 10A Week 2.
No. But I watched Hargrim play his first game, and the guy's mental. It's so enjoyable to watch him. He plays very, very, very aggressive Blood Bowl. And it's wonderful to see. It's really enjoyable to watch. So if you do get the chance, pop by his stream, give him some love. He's also doing some recaps of one of the divisions, so big shout out to him. Speaking of games to watch, Bernie Buffon also streams his games. I know that. So definitely worth popping by and seeing how his Chaos Dwarves are doing on the pitch as well. There's another Skaven team up there, and a Necro team on three of them on 1-1-1, and it's 1-1-0. And it's kind of the guys I called, right? Like, these are people who have been known to me. And
yeah, these are definitely the guys that have set the early pace, but we are only 2 weeks in, so there's a lot that can change there. But
yeah, I mean, let's look at the game results. I mean, right. Unfortunately, Only Fools and Hobgoblins, we had an issue with Doped Wizard. He just didn't show up, unfortunately. So, Only Fools and Hobgoblins grabbed a bye week in the first week. We have now replaced them with a ramp-up coach. There's a brand new team that we can talk about in the division. We'll get to them in a minute. Came straight fresh from ramp-up this week. We'll talk about them soon. From the Stars took on Furry Hair and went 1-1. Directed by me versus Arrogant Bar Stewards were 1-0 the Bar Stewards. The Rat Rebel 1-0. Not a big scoring game, but that's entirely the opposite. I mean, Rebel Vikings 4-2 over Tabard Tellers. It was, I believe he had a blitz, maybe he had two. I can't quite remember, but it was mental. It was such an interesting game to watch. And then the Contract Killers took a 1-0 over Roaring Boar. Week 2. We're kind of seeing, like I said, the results kind of streaming back in. A couple of draws, 0-0s, so they might have been
a lot of close results as well. I do think that speaks volumes for the coach level here in Division 10F. I do think it's one of the tougher, at least letter divisions that we have here.
I would agree.
Not a lot between all the results here. A lot of 0-0s, as you said, a lot of 1-0s or 2-1s. So I do think, despite what we were saying earlier on, Crystal Hunter taking a wee early lead of that, the results themselves each week are going to be very close. So it's definitely something that I'm going to look forward to seeing each week here.
Right, we are going to push over to, we'll do that in a minute. Let's look at the teams and see how they've developed. Now, we're going to start with Tommy Wiseau's, directed by me. Unfortunately, he hasn't really picked up that much development. He's not had the best of games. It's very much like one Kaz and two MVPs across both games, which is a brutally difficult start. But he has got guard, so that's nice. Oops. Wrong one.
Yeah, so the first game he played was against the Roarimbo Orcs, so trying to get SPP and Kaz onto those Orcs can be extremely tricky. And then his second game was against the Arrogant Bar Stewards, so who they are the High Elves as well, so catching them can be a bit tricky as well. So the SPP itself probably hasn't been coming as you'd hope it would, but Undead are a very strong team at low TV, so I'm sure there's plenty of development still to come, and obviously still putting up a very good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking to see them kind of start to do more. I mean, they are a strong team early, so the more they play, the better they're going to get. Speaking of playing more and getting more, I mean, they're a little bit battered, but it doesn't look too bad. What we've got so far, we've only got an MNG on a gutter, and it's a line rat, so really, who cares what it is? But it's probably an MNG, because if it was a niggle, I assume it'd be fired. He's only got 40k, but he's got only 11 men for the next match, but 2 heads and block already.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Crystal Hunter's rat team here. It does seem quite light on the Storm Vermin SPP. I know he probably would have hoped to have got more SPP onto them, but it's hard to tell without watching the games just to see how many opportunities he had to have done that. The gutter runner being MNG is always going to be a bit tricky, and I can look at Likic and see that he is definitely building himself a cheeky wee sacker or ball recovery gutter runner within there. So definitely Crystal Hunter pulling out some nice wins in the first 2 weeks despite a very underdeveloped Skaven team, some would say.
Doubles are very, very big on Skaven, and having an early 2 heads is really nice. It'll be interesting to see what he does with it. Put it that way.
Definitely.
Moving on, we've got Jip. Oh, sorry, you were about to say?
I would say that taking the 2 heads over something like Big Hand or that, I would look along the lines of probably going wrestle strip ball next.
Hey, look.
I don't think I'm probably going to be more of a sacker than a recovery.
Maybe. Look what we've got turned up on the next team, though. We've got the Tabar Tellers with JP Casey, and he's got a Mighty Blow Blitzer. That's nice.
That's very nice. Minus movement on alignment, it's fine. Just put him on LOS. That's what his job is.
That's LOS fodder, to be honest.
Now, definitely some nice SPP on the Witch Elf, but yeah, the Reeve Mighty Blow Blitzer is huge. He does also have the pocket area after 2 games, and 30k in the bank, which is always good to see with Dark Elves, so taking very little positional damage before getting that apple is very good.
Yeah, it's looking nice. We did talk about how it was a little bit of a greedy start, and we were worried that they had kind of maybe overstretched themselves, but it's going well. I like it. It's an aggressive start, even, not greedy, but aggressive. Having the
he has taken 2 losses so far at the moment, so a 4-2 loss to the Rebel Vikings. You were saying there that you'd watched that, and there's a few blitzes of that went on there.
The Hargrimzilla went mental and just did, like, there wasn't a 3+ dodge he didn't do.
Yeah.
He got a blitz and he just dived in, or every single time he saw any opportunity whatsoever, he just went mental at it. And it was JP Casey just didn't have anything to answer with, because it's really hard to play against Wood Elves.
It's a very hard game as well for Dark Elves against Wood Elves in general itself. But also his second game was against Crystal Hunter and his Skaven, so possibly 2 of the more difficult games out the way early. And he does have Mighty Blow now and kicking a bit of development. So looking to see JP Casey push on a bit now, pick up some wins.
I would like to see them pick up a touchdown on that witch as soon as humanly possible to go for 6 SPP.
If not, 2 vanity passes and then getting the ball onto either the Miller or the Knight to get some touchdowns.
That's not terrible either. Now we moved on to what I think is still a mental build. It's the 1 werewolf necro team.
Yes, I know you're not a fan of this build.
Well, look, right, it's done exactly what I said was going to happen, which is the ghoul currently has 11 SPP, which, if that was a wolf, right, hear me out, if that was a wolf, how much better would life be?
It does appear so. So the thing from the Stars looks to have picked up an MVP, whereas the Ghoul Harpies picked up an MVP and 2 touchdowns. So it is stealing the SPP, but now it has Blodge. You can probably afford to leave
if it was
itself.
A werewolf, it'd have had that MVP because
True, but it's been picked. We need to move on from that metal.
I can't help it. I don't like it, Noru.
Noru. Come on,
I also really don't like it having block. I think wrestle is
I was about to say sure hands is what I would have taken.
Wrestle.
I would have took sure hands just to ball carrier straight away.
Put it this way, you don't put wrestle on your wolves. So you put it on your ghoul.
No, anyway, you hopefully get Mighty Blow on your wolves. 4 SPP on one of the flesh golems is very nice. Now, Mel, here's the most important question. Do we know what the team name's referencing? Is it the Call of Cthulhu and Darkest Dungeon?
I don't believe we know at this point. No, they haven't responded.
Noru, your first and only job, apart from building the Necro team properly next time, is to tell Metal or me what your team is.
Team theme is, right. Moving on, we've got a Orc team that has, again, kind of had a little bit of trouble getting SPP across the board. There's a lineman with a touchdown, which is kind of weird, but okay. 2 MVPs onto a blitzer to pick up guard, which is guard first, is brave. I don't know if I like it. I much prefer Mighty Blow the first time, guard the rest.
This is a very bashy division, so I don't hate the guard itself. Now, looking at their 2 games, they won their first game 1-0 against the Gorgoth Goliaths.
You can do it, buddy. You can do it.
Which I can't actually find in the list. Mel, help me out here.
I think I don't know. Oh, was that the one was that a bye? I think that might have been the bye, dude.
Right. No, it was anyway. So it's possibly where the lineman came in there.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was. We'll get to them anyway. It's fine. Stop. Don't hover over it too much.
Stop. Don't. So I don't hate the guard, first of all. Like I said, it is a bashy division and such. But 3 rerolls, 1 apple. So again, the utilities are on the team. 90k in the bank. Probably just wait until he gets over that next winnings, just so that you can pick up that extra lineman. Thrower, I know they're very divisive. You ideally want to get him off the LOS as quickly as possible, and also not have to put Black Ops on the LOS instead of him.
Yeah,
so
a lineman. I kind of would maybe pick up a lineman now, depending on what your next match is and if you would given any up. Now, there's another Orc team here, which is Rarimbo. The Rarimbo Orcs, and they have no development and have lost a guy, which appears to be either a lineman or a thrower.
The joy of when you think it's a thrower.
It might be a thrower. Someone might have improved his team for him. But that kind of hurts because he's down to the guy, whoever he lost, had taken an MVP because he's only got 1 MVP in the list. Oof.
That's never fun.
Oof, boys. I can't say much. There's nothing to say.
By the looks of things, looking at their first game against the Contract Killers, which I believe is Bernie, I'm going to kill your team Buffon. He minus Ajid the thrower.
Okay, that's dead.
Then got MVP.
Interestingly, we're jumping over to Bernie now, and he's actually got no levels in 2 games. Everything else is online. He's got his 6 blockers, he's got his 3 rerolls, he's got his Apo, and he's got a couple of blockers who've absorbed MVPs, which is really good.
Yep. Choff blocker MVPs is always very nice. Again, I'm just having a look at his games here. So he did also play the Orcs, and he's played both Orc teams.
Yeah, that's a tough one to find, Kaz.
Yeah. But he has got decent results from it, and a good spread of the SPP.
Yeah, well,
you don't want too much coming on the Hobgoblins.
One touchdown, 2 Kaz, 16 breaks. 16 breaks is going to tell the story, innit? He's only got 16 breaks in 2 games, which is because he's hitting every 9 over and over again.
Yes, exactly. The only rough period is probably his next 2 games. He did also buy the 3rd reroll, which leaves him 0 in the bank. So those Bulls and Choffs are not going to have money to replace him if needed for the next couple of games. So I imagine Bernie will just be hoping to get a bit of bank and then just put some more SPP on the Bull Centaurs and the Choff blockers that are close to leveling.
Yeah, I think so too. Moving on, here's the man himself, Hargrimzilla.
Hargrimzilla.
Right, Ragnar. It was a hero in his first games, and now he's taking an armor. In his first game, now he's taking an armor bust. It's a strip baller, but it's bad.
Is it a replacer? That's the question.
Well, he's only got 1 reroll, so and he's kind of not got the money anywhere.
No,
it's a rough one either way.
Now his thrower is at 2 out of 6 SPP, so I imagine you could probably resist the 2nd reroll by rushing leader there
if you can get it.
But it's a team very short of positionals.
It's interesting he's grabbed a tackle on a lineman. That's bizarre to me. I don't know what was going on there, but I'll give him it. If he wants to go that way, he can go that way.
Having a look at it, the Rebel Vikings up next have got the Furry Harem, which is rats.
Oh, that could be why.
And then followed by the Orcs.
It's not going to help against the Orcs, but it's certainly going to help against the rats.
Angry Etmer. So he does have rats, orcs, high elves in the next 3 games.
And like I say, he plays very aggro. So maybe it's just because he wants to do he wants to attack a lot. We'll see. We'll definitely see if what he does it'll be interesting to see what he does, how much cash he gets, and what his choice is next.
Exactly.
Moving on to Angry Altma. They've had a bit of a rough one. If you look...
This team makes me cry because it's missing something that it should have had.
Thrower.
No.
Apple.
On the left-hand side, yes, the
God.
apple.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he's only missing linemen, so it's not the worst situation in the universe.
Please buy the apple.
For God's sake, you've got 80k in the bank. Buy the damn apple, Martin.
Please buy the apple. Yes, it is missing a thrower, but the apple, please buy it.
Well, he's sustained 2 deaths in 2 games. I mean, if that doesn't tell you need an apple, I don't know what does. They were only linemen, so they weren't getting appled. But you know, if it was a blitzer or your catcher, you're gonna have a bad time. So buy the apple, dude.
The one good thing out of it is the High Chancellor and Meridor are both 1 SPP away from a level, so you'd like to see them both level next game. Vanity
passing to each other, and then chuck the ball to Manny Marco, who you get a touchdown on, and level 3 players in one game. Boom, bang, bang.
Yep. You've also got Enrion that's 3 SPP, Era that's 2 SPP. So you do have some good level up possibilities. So 3 or 4 levels possibly in the next game.
Yeah, and also, you know what I like on Elves as well? While you're doing the vanity passes, try and get some vanity passes on anyone who's got 0. Like Mankar Cameron, if you can get a vanity pass on him. Simply because every single player you get at least 1 SPP can level off an MVP then, which is super important.
Yeah, the also reason I'm saying must get an apple is guess who he's got next week?
Is it Bernie?
Yeah.
Oof.
Mr. Bernie's going to kill your team, Buffon.
It might be bad. It might be bad news bears, right? The next one, we've got Rugbart's Arrogant Bar Stewards. And they're also having some of the players take some time off the
pitch.
Yeah.
Only MNGs, so not terrible. And high F loaners aren't the worst thing in the world. They're good for putting on the LOS.
But he does lose his kicker.
Yes,
it's going to sting.
Arrogant Barsters. I'm just going to have a quick look see if they've got next round. The Arrogant Barsters do have the Orcs, so the Rimbro Orcs.
Yeah, kick would have been very handy there. So, but he does have an apple, so there's that. He doesn't have the 3rd team reroll yet. He's got dodge on alignment, so he's coming along. He's got 2 catches, which is awesome. But I really feel like. Have you read the player names?
Yeah.
I don't understand what catcher number 4 is all about. But the rest are Cos, Metal, Can't, Elf names. I renamed all of them.
Because you gave him abuse for having standard names.
Apart from, he's left. I love the one he's left in the middle. I think it was supposed to be. Oh God, I love you, Rugbart, but that's hilarious.
Coinciding Cavavananolon.
I love it. Cosmetal Khan, Elf names, I renamed all of them. Good man.
Good man, yes.
Oh, I like that. Alright, let's move on. Yeah, we actually did lose a guy, and we had someone step up into this. I can't remember who it was who stepped up, but it was somebody.
Tell me. Keith Carr.
No, it wasn't Keith Carr, was it? Oh, maybe you missed the first week. You might have missed the first week. Duh, Keith Carr, come on. Boo. Anyway, Only Fools and Hobgoblins, the Salmon has actually, unlike Bernie, got some levels. He's actually looking really good.
The Salmon is used to fighting his way uphill all the time, upstream.
He's kind of not going upstream at this point because he's got a Garda and he's got a dirty player and he's got a bench and he's got he's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, but you know what he doesn't have?
SPP on his balls.
Unique player names.
also SPP on his balls. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Are we sure they're not unique? Because I'm looking at his 2 bulls, and one of them's called Fast Blaster, and the other one's called Blast Faster.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure they're the standard Chorf names.
Because I mean that's just a great little accidental then, having Fast Blaster and Blast Faster.
I mean, we do have 2 brain breakers in the Hobgoblins at the bottom.
I know, but Fast Blaster and Blast Faster.
And 2 Quick Tooths.
Keep saying it, man.
Try to say Fast Blaster, Blast Faster, Fast Blaster, Blast Faster.
Anyway, he's doing good. I like it. I know you don't like the guard first, but I kind of do because it's a bashy div.
I know, but I always like one Mighty Blow. You can't get Claw Mighty Blow without Mighty Blow. Because if you roll doubles...
Oh no, Fairy Heron was in at the beginning. Keith Carr was there from World 1. And he's got...
Metalist Division admin, you should learn this for next week. Okay?
Look, right, I've been busy, alright? I'll figure it out for next time.
Yeah, you figure it out.
If you check this out, he's got a line rat that's MNG, which is no big deal. He's got 10k in the bank. He's got no real development anywhere. He's got a few SPPs.
He does have one thing which I know you're going to mention.
I'm not going to talk about it. But he's got it. He likes it as well. He uses... I've played against him in Clan like 2 seasons on the bounce, and he loves that Rat Ogre, and he uses it to blitz a lot. So I'm not surprised to see it, and I don't like it, but it's there.
There's 2 things that are tilting me beyond belief about this team. The first thing is that he has a Rat Ogre not called Full Metal. And the second thing is, Madge, the lineman, is the only name that's in lowercase.
The other one that's getting me is he's only got 2 T rerolls, believe it or not. Because he went the Rat Ogre route, which is insanely scary.
Yes. But he seems to be doing very well. Keith Carr is rocking it out in 3rd place here with a 1-win, 1-draw.
He's a player to watch. He's a good Rat player, but I really don't like the build. So there's that. Now, checking the schedule out, we're going to roll around over right now, and we're going to see who's coming up. So we've got the Rebel Vikings versus the... Now this is going to be an interesting one.
This is a game. This is Hargrimzilla versus Keith Carr.
And there's a lot of agi. There's only one word answer in the stripper's out, but the tackler is in, which to me says he's going to be hunting for gut runners, and I like that.
Yes. I do indeed as well like that also. The only
I
thing
do
is
expect to see the Rat Ogre level off of the back of this game.
Yes, and possibly also the 5 SBP Storm Vermin. But the one thing that is going to probably swing this into Keith's favour in my mind is there is no tree for the Wood Elves. So that Rat Ogre can cause a lot of problems, and if the Elves go down players that don't have a lot of the strength of the tree to fall back onto.
I think it's going to be a game. I think it's definitely what I'm going to try and watch when Hargrim streams it, if I can.
Yeah. Yes,
and I
don't let your hatred for the Rat Ogre tint your vision here, Metal. Okay,
I can't pick a winner. I really can't. I think it could go either way depending on whose armor 7 can hold up.
Well, I'm not going to sit on the fence unlike Metal, who sits on the fence the entire time. I'm going to say Furry Harem for the win.
That's fair. I'm gonna maybe go for the Wood Elves to be divisive. But we'll see. Now the next one is a High Elf, the Angry Altners, taking on the Contract Killers.
Yep. Ooh, I'm going to kill your team, Buffon.
It's a tough one. It's
against a High Elf team that really needs to get that apple.
It absolutely. Looking at the matchup, it needs an apple right now.
Yeah. Knowing how good a player Bernie is, a Chorse versus High Elf matchup is favoured towards the Chorse as it is. I think Bernie is expected to win this game.
Yes, I would agree. I think it's uphill for the Altners.
But High Elves can also pull out some magic, so I would like to see, you know what I mean, the High Elves put up a bit of an upset here. So Bernie will still have to be his best to get the result, but the odds are in his favour at the moment.
Next, we've got another one, another tough match. It's the more High Elves taking on Orcs.
Yes.
Another really tough... This is actually quite a tough week to call. Because...
Rookie Orcs versus, fairly rookie High Elves. That's got draw written all over it for me.
It does, doesn't it? Unless the High Elves explode, in which case it isn't.
Well, they could explode either way. They could explode and they all go off the pitch and the Orcs run some scores in, or they could explode with their agility nonsense and put 2 past them.
Yes, it could go either way. I'm going to give it to the High Elves, because I didn't give the last one to the High Elves, and I kind of feel like they're with Agi, there's always a chance, right? And you know the Orcs don't have any mighty blow anywhere. I think it could definitely go to the High Elves' favour this time.
The next round up itself is the as I get this up, the Only Fools and Hobgoblins. So that is the Salmon's Chorse versus the Tabab Tellers, which are JP Casey's Dark Elves.
Now, if I was Casey, I would be aiming hard for Hobgoblins this match with your Mighty Blow.
Yes.
Try and trim the numbers. Don't get into a brawl with the blockers, because even with Mighty Blow blockers or AV9, they're tough to deal with. Go after the hobgoblins, reduce the numbers, and suddenly the Chorfs have a much harder time. That being said, if you're the Chorf player, protect your hobgoblins and batter everything.
Yeah. Lean on that DP. So the dirty play itself, if that witch goes anywhere near you, you want to be taking her out, and if she doesn't go out then, just give her a good kick in the head.
Remember buy a dinner first.
Yeah, or stab her like Metal would do to his.
Behave. Right, okay.
But kick could be very strong here, though, for the Dark Elves, so...
It's going to be a tough game again. Like I said, there's a really hard lineup to call this week, I think.
Yeah. Being a bit of a Dark Elf fan and player myself, I'm going to have to give JP Casey my vote. Got to rep those Dark Elves.
I'm going to give it to Only Fools and Hobgoblins because, again, I like being divisive. And we can't really compete on predictions if we both pick the same team every time, so I'm fine with that. Now, we've got From the Stars and their really interesting Necro build that I can't quite get over. A take on
the word you're looking for is bold.
Bold. Right. You see, I've got something coming. I can't talk to you about it so much, but I've got something that you want to watch out for coming in that regard. But you'll see more, hopefully, when my graphic designer gets back to me next week. But anyway,
yes.
Right. We've got... I think it's going to go...
Hunters.
It's going to go to Crystal Hunter. I'm sorry, but Crystal Hunter is such a good coach. I can't bet against him, I think, ever. Because I find it very difficult to bet against Skaven at the best of times. And Skaven coached by Crystal is even harder to bet against.
Still a rookie Skaven, though, majority of it. I'm going to go with Nora here, because I like to be divisive, and I'm going to see that werewolf do magical things to those rats.
Did you just steal my line?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
And it's definitely going to be a bold game itself.
It'll be one that's worth watching, I think.
Yes.
And finally, we've got the Oslo Snake Club, which, if you remember back, were Orcs against Directed by Me. It's just... the poor guy, he's picked an undead team, and then he's rolled back-to-back into AV9 teams. Mm-hmm. It's a really hard start to the division for Tommy Wiseau, because it's really difficult to get your SPP rolling.
It is. Now, the only good thing is, so the Oslo Snake Club do have the one guard, but Tommy Wiseau does have his own guard, and he does have more Mighty Blow. Yeah. So, there's no tackle on the Orcs. Tommy does have some money, so he can get himself a bit of a bench if he wants to run a bit of the fouling game. He's also TV 1000 compared to TV 1080. So I wouldn't even hate chucking 20k in there to pick up a bribe.
I think I'd do that too. Try and, especially because, and it might sound like, sour grapes a little bit, but foul as often as you can with this team, because even getting a bench really makes a difference. Like, I was playing my game in 10A, and I was playing against a Necro team as my undead, and I fouled his ghoul on like turn 15 or 16 when I knew I couldn't win. I was really far behind, and I was like, look, dude, and I fouled it for like 3 turns, and I just played keep away the rest of the team because I knew the game was done. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not being BM about it, but the ghoul's the only thing I can reanimate, and I'm struggling in this. My team's struggling already. I haven't got any development yet. So if I foul off a ghoul and kill it, I can necromancer it.
The other thing to look out is, so we do have an undead team in Division 10A that looks very strong, mainly on the back of having 2 free undead zombies. So, fouling definitely helps you.
10B, sorry, yeah. But I would say...
No, the guy that we review in 10A.
No, I'm saying, but I was in 10B.
I don't care. We don't care about what division you're in, Mel.
Ghouls. Like I say, if you can get a kill and get your necromancer to get you something, it's nice.
It's a big swing.
It's basically swing. Well, it's a big swing in the middle of the game because it's a 2-player swing instantly. If you get a kill, they lose a player and you gain a player that you can field pretty much at the end of the drive, which is fantastic as long as it's not the end of the game. But also, you get a free lineman, so you save yourself 40k instantly, right? That's nice.
Both coaches also sitting here at 1 draw, 1 loss, so hopefully trying to get their first wins on the board. Push them up that leaderboard a bit. So definitely another close game here that hopefully maybe get a chance to catch either live if anyone's streaming it or on the beat.
I want it to be said that I did not bet against Tommy Wiseau, so I'm betting for Tommy Wiseau.
Your benefit, tell me whether. I'm backing up the Oslo Snake Club.
Fair. Okay.
I'm going to work my magic charm on them.
Right, again, it was a bit of a rush one because we had 2 weeks to talk about, so if we've missed something, please do let us know in the comments or PM us on Discord. Either of us, we will listen.
Also, I am actually McNaughton 4, not McNugget, if you're trying to find a McNaughton on Discord.
McNaughton. Yeah. You look for the clan tag Thick and the fact that he's flipping Solid Snake, alright?
Yeah, boys. Also, Snake Club rep.
Snake! Snake!
Snake! As I'm just casually sitting about smoking and hiding in a cardboard box.
Oh god, yeah, sounds about right. Hiding from his betting. But yeah, it'll be super interesting to see when we come back. We will go over who had the most predicted right answers, so I should have written them down and I didn't. We're going to maybe get some graphics running about the predictions, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a week. This was, like I said, a gap, so we did 2 here, but there won't be a gap next time. We'll be back next week, okay?
Yeah, we'll go over anyone that's not done the coach feedback forms. If you don't know where to find it, mate, I'll direct you to that. If you could fill them out, because we're going to start going through them as well.
Drop me a PM and I'll send them to you. And like I say, there'll be a double... we'll probably talk about 2 coaches next week. We'll pick a matchup, I think, and talk about both coaches from that matchup based on the information we have from them. So we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you again, Mcnugget, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you all stay classy, folks.
Stay classy.
God damn it. You're not going to come back next week. You're going to get the Gerber treatment. You're going to get banned.
You're just going to do this all on your own. We both know that's not happening.
Shush.